I would say I wouldn't feel a bit frustrated right now, but unfortunately I am. I recorded a whole lot. Sure, it was only an hour, but I did record everything and make sure all my lines are correct, only to find out that I accidentally deleted it during my cleaning of my phone. So, yeah, that sucks a lot. But I'm back. Now, in the previous video, we talked about having Pika OS on my system. Well, let's just say I ran into some complications. I also ran complications when I was just trying to make a video on Debian 13 because I wanted to give it a fair shot. I did say on my Pika OS video that the reason why I prefer using it is that Pika OS doesn't need the painstaking task of going into the terminal. But when I was trying to reinstall Pika OS, I ran into the problem of the Wi-Fi not working. You're asking yourself, the Wi-Fi not working? Don't you use LAN cable? Yes, and that's the problem. It somehow didn't recognize my LAN cable, so I'm stuck. Yeah, you're not going to get that recording back. I kind of wish I charged my phone before we started all of this, but I digress. Now, back to what I was saying. I'm stuck in limbo trying to see what operating system that I can use right now because I still want to make videos for you guys, but it's clear that I need to have one thing stable first before I can continue on. So I'm back on Windows 10. Yeah, as you can see from my facial expression that I may have feeling regret that I installed this OS again. What's even worse that I installed Valorant again because the Valorant bug itch and I couldn't resist myself. But the difference between this is that I not installed Steam on this Windows 10 because I am separately running Bazzite on the other SSD. Bazzite, you might say. Isn't Bazzite the gaming focus OS? Yes, it is, and it's meant to be something like SteamOS, but more simpler install. When I made this video, I'm hoping to see how good Bazzite is, at the very least, as a pure gaming distro, especially someone who migrated from Windows to trying Linux. And also, I'm going to show you what Bazzite has to offer and why I kind of agree that this is actually a good OS if you want to have it for pure gaming. I'll show you the pros and cons of Bazzite. I'm going to show the biggest overall difference in the usage of each computer's RAM, and then the entire conclusion to all of this and talk about the next video that I'm going to make. But for now, let's go into Bazzite and see what it has to offer you. I'll start with what you get when you already finish installation and log in your account. You have all your games here. If you plug in with your controller, it will function the same way like a Steam Deck would. And I already have Overwatch 2 installed. And what I normally do if you're on a normal desktop, you have the compatibility to force use of the specific Steam Play compatibility tool and have Proton at a Proton that's already installed with Steam, or you can get your Proton GE latest. Now, how do you get that one? Simple, because Bazzite actually has Proton GE already installed. And how do you access that? Through the desktop mode. Now go through what I just did, going into the switch desktop mode, and then find your Proton Plus in your game section. This entire desktop is functionally same like KDE Plasma. So just click, you have here, install, and you're done. You effectively made your games run as smooth as ever with just a download of the Proton GE. Now, can you do basic tasks on this desktop mode? Yes, you can, but you cannot screen record with OBS because when you install OBS, and wants to record and then return to game mode, you will be greeted with this. OBS is currently active. All screen recordings will be shut down. So that's the bummer part. 720p low. I am currently using a 720p TV and we are getting 95. This is round 2 and during that round 2 we were getting around 60, 60s, 70s and 80s, but now we are reaching our cap. We are start seeing the hundreds, which is a good thing. Smart, smart. I should have saw that coming. Because of course he did. A Reinhardt player, always a Reinhardt player. Perfect. Wait. Haha, gotcha. Booyah. Counter Strike 2. I originally didn't want to because I don't remember this game playing good on native Linux. Especially you're not allowed to put ah sorry. Back to what I was saying. This is not allowed to use the Proton layer, meaning if you want to play this, you have to go native. It's going pretty well considering it's 720p low, and Counter Strike 2 is a very demanding game compared to Counter Strike Go, so it's always a surprise to me that it runs this well. Low health, I can exactly move here. Knew it. Ooh, that was nasty. Nastiest swing I've ever done. On low health, no less. Dang it. And of course, it's holding on off. Well, at the very least, I got a clip. Nasty. The audio in this video, I have to cut it out because I was sneezing way too much. But, like I said, 720p high, my favorite game of all time, All Stars Racing Transform. I know you've seen this game in my benchmark a couple of times, but I can't help it at the very least shoehorn it in because this is still my favorite racing game of all time. Sure, it still has some biases because this is my first game I got in the first PlayStation. Huh? First PlayStation 3 that I have, but it's still a game that I couldn't even run on Windows because it keeps crashing on itself compared to Linux and Steam OS even. I don't even run that problem anymore and I can play it just like how I used to play it in the PlayStation 3, which is always a plus. Now here's my current use in Windows. I have Valorant as you can see. I know, and have CapCut on the ready to install. Now, I am currently only using 3.7, but that because I had to uninstall a lot of things that you can see. I uninstalled the bloatware, I uninstalled Copilot, and that is the bare minimum you need to just get the RAM to not overuse itself and not past the point of 4 gigabytes for just loading, might I add you, for just existing. Yeah, and compared to other distros, regardless of what you are on, Zorin, Mint, Casio OS, whatever, their disk usage is only 2 gigabytes, just idle. And that's just if you're using GNOME or KDE Plasma. There is a desktop environment called SFCE. XFCE, I think I got it right. And that is very, very lightweight and could probably only use 1 gigabyte. Hell, there is lightweight distros if you have like computers that are very, very low in RAM. We have that solution, baby, here at Linux. We do. But that's about it. Is it Does it take some time to get used to it? Absolutely. Does it mean that it's not worth trying? No, because I am a firm believer that every computer has every right to, the very least, have some form of use, unless it's broken, unless the computer itself is very, very old. And we're not just talking like it's a 6th gen or 7th gen. Hell, even a 3rd gen CPU is still usable in this day and age. So, no, I do not recommend people just throwing out of the landfill all because of Windows 10 end of support. While I understand that is a concern, there's always, and I do mean always, options out there to make your computer last long. And if you're really, really from Windows wanting to try Linux, then just go with Zorin OS. There's a free version, there's a paid version. The free version is more than enough to get you rolling. So, what's next for me? To be honest, I don't even know because my original video before this was going to see how productivity will work, but I still need some tests to see what kind of tests that actually makes sense in this scenario because Office dominates everyone's work environment. Not one company is using an alternative to Microsoft's Teams, Microsoft's Office. And I am going to use LibreOffice as a way to see the difference in how Word presentation and Excel spreadsheet works, but I'm probably going to have some problems with the Teams aspect because I don't understand what Teams is and don't know how to use it. But essentially, I want this video as a reminder that regardless of how low spec your PC can be, that doesn't mean it's not useful. Even something as a potato dual core and with only using a 4 gigabyte VRAM card, it's still more than usable. And not only usable, but playable if you're a gamer. And I encourage you to go through what I go through. Was it hell testing all these Linux distros and endure the problems that I faced during all of this? It is. But it's also a way that we don't have to be very, very tight knit with Microsoft because if you're too dependent on one thing, the moment that one thing goes away, where do we fall back to? What is our backup plan? And I want this video to be a kind of motivator for people to, at the very least, try. You're talking to someone who uses Windows most of his life, someone who is when he was a teenager who couldn't care less for Linux, and then start learning again after I finished vocational school because I got sick of Windows. I want people to take my word as an inspiration to try Linux. That's all I want this channel to be an inspiration for people to dip their waters in Linux while Linux is at its very peak. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, I know that's a bit convoluted, especially with its conclusion being longer than it needs to be, but well, it's just me. Thank you all. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. See ya.